There we go. Well, welcome everyone to your July 28th online Rotary Club of Ames meeting. I will get us started here. I'm actually the guest speaker today as well, so I'll introduce myself in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started. Anyone joins in, great. Yeah, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So stand if you can, and we'll go through that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have anyone to keep in our thoughts and prayers today specifically? Let's just take a moment to think of someone loved and give them our thoughts. Okay, thank you, everybody. Couple of announcements here. We're going to have our next week luncheon at the Plex. We have Frank Morano. He is with Ames Racket and Fitness Center as an exercise management topic, and I guess there's a few within Rotary found or our Rotary Club already that he helps out. So it'll be exciting to hear from him and how he could possibly help others out. So that'll be next week at the Plex in person. Look forward to having everyone there. Any other announcements anyone has to add in? I got to figure out where the chat is on this. Allison, can you monitor the chat? Perfect. So I was asked to be the guest speaker today, talk about myself a little bit, my trip to Rotary or my journey into Rotary. First, I'm Vice President of Operations for Iowa Home Crafters and Silent Rivers. We're design build residential construction companies here in central Iowa. Iowa Home Crafters is right here in the Ames market for 36 years now, and Silent Rivers down in Des Moines for 31 years. So that's my day job. Keeps me very busy. We have 2 new homes going up right now. One was a home and then another home that was moved in Drake. I don't know if you've seen it on the television or not, but Drake University decommissioned a certain lot with a beautiful old home on it, but didn't want to tear the home down. So we put a foundation up about a block and a half away and had it moved over to there. And we're about done with it to put it on the market to sell. So, but a lot of what we do is remodeling. Just wanted to give everybody the opportunity to know a little bit more about me. I am married to my beautiful wife, Heather, we're coming up on, well, this year will be 24 years. So next year we'll be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. Maybe take a trip somewhere. We have an acreage just outside of Ames, and I have cattle that keeps me busy when I'm not busy at work. And we have some chickens who are not laying eggs right now, but I wish they were. So we're going to probably look at getting new chickens, and then a few outside fur babies, cats that keep the place under control, and a couple indoor cats too. So we stay very busy with activities out here. And I have peaches that are coming in. I planted 3 peach trees in 2017 when we first moved here. And 2 years ago was the first time we got a crop off of them, and they are full-size peaches and they are fantastic. And then last year they didn't come in, and this year they are. So I may bring some peaches to Rotary coming up if we get an overabundance of them. So that's a little bit about me. Born and raised in Iowa. Actually grew up on a farm down in southern Iowa outside of Osceola. And my folks just recently last year decided to move closer to town and sold the farm. So that was kind of sad, but that's, and then I came to Iowa State and with the exception of a couple of years that we moved to Cedar Rapids, we've been in Ames. Both of us have been in Ames since early 90s. So love the community, love being involved with Rotary and all that we stand for. For my path to Rotary Club of Ames, I was um, at Gateway Hotel as a sales manager, and associations was one of my bigger markets. So Rotary fell underneath of that. Got to start working with Karen back then, and NC Pets was coming to town in 2019. Um, Probably within my first year or so there at the Gateway. Maybe the second year is when that planning started and got to work with some great folks. Jackie Andrew being one of them as well. She and Karen surprised me at the NC Pets dinner with a Paul Harris fellow pin. I was very surprised. My wife did a great job of keeping that a surprise for me. I didn't know it, but at the time they said it's unusual, but occasionally Rotarians will find someone outside of the Rotary family and give them a Paul Harris fellow pin. And they just happened to do it in front of NC Pet's dinner crowd on a Saturday night. So that was great. Um, and it really was very interesting. I was very, very humbled by it. Um, and it did lead to me eventually joining later that year the club and representing Gateway right there at the hotel. And then when COVID hit, things kind of slowed down, but then I've found my way back. So really happy to be back as a part of it, representing myself and my employer, Iowa Homecrafters. So that's a little bit about my journey. Um, My goals, what are my goals for the year? So this is brought up. We do a smaller version now of NC Pets. It was just a 1 day, and it was really good. Is kind of a focus of what is your presidency going to look like, and what are some of the goals that you might have for the year. Membership is one of the biggest topics for all District 6000, and I imagine it's probably for all Rotary. Um, our numbers. I gave them a number of +1 for the goal, and if you eventually here you'll see I'll kind of go through where our numbers have gone the last 5 years, and so you'll understand a little bit more of why that was my goal. Was we've had member loss and we've had some gain. So if I do go well beyond that, that'd be fantastic. But it's not really if I go, it's the club. So it's really everybody that can help out with that. Um, I'd like to plant a tree for every member this coming spring. Um, Tammy went to the Rotary International Convention and had a link that she brought back that's it's kind of a this is best practices or how you get started with something like that of planting a tree. And it's not just really my goal, but it's also some other, um, and I can't specifically remember right now if it was Norland's or another district governor's goal to help with that. But it resonates with me. So being a hobbyist miller sawyer, if you will, I like seeing trees that have fallen down or need to come down, getting another life for another 200 years. That's also at Iowa Homecrafters what we do as well. So the planting of the next generation's tree is always on our mind as well. Like how can we um, keep the cycle going? I mean, I've always been told the best time to plant a tree is today, and the next time, no, 20 years ago. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the next best time is today. So I hope everybody can join me in that. I'd like to hear from each member, what brought you to Rotary and what you'd like to see, where you'd like to see the club go. For me, I've had since that NC that minor NC Pets. So I'll call it just the local NC Pets, which is National, let's see, North Central President-elect Training Seminar is what that stands for. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. So as they're training the new presidents, that got me thinking, okay, what brought me to Rotary in the first place, and where would I like to see the club go? Well, what brought me in the first place was, like I mentioned, I was at Rotary, or I mean, I was at Gateway, NC Pets, that recognition, and got me thinking, okay, this could be a great networking group to see a lot of the business professionals of the community, and those retired. But it also is a service organization that helps out as many people as they can. There's a lot of great work being done with Polio Plus, obviously, and a lot of other things. And that's what's really kept me excited about it. And that's where I'd like to see the club go, is to continue locally what we can do, and then also these the water projects really resonate with me as well. So that's a little bit about myself. I'd also like to see the club get more healthy as far as membership goes. We're in a spot right now where the size of the venue that we go to every other week fits with who's really showing up. It's about half of our membership. Certainly have room to grow for those that are on site within that same venue. Um, and in a little bit, you'll see more about the financials as to, if we were still at the Gateway, I think we would be really struggling because of the financial um, meals and the venue itself. So we're not in a bad spot where we're at right now. It's a little difficult driving wise, but again, where I'd like to see the club go is just, can we get more people involved at each meeting, and how do we help to grow membership with new um, younger professionals, those middle-aged all the way to retirement. I mean, I know there's several within the group that have recently retired and have joined. Um, and it was even brought up at our board meeting. I don't know who I would reach out to at that age. And well, actually, just about any age is a good age to get involved and see what Rotary can do or is doing. Speaking of which, a community service project where we can all get behind and get involved in some level. I know it's been a little bit. I think the Miracle Park might be the last one that was a big community project. We have some ideas of some that are out there that we might try to partner or at least vet out with the board itself, and bring to the group, the entire group. So looking for any and all ideas that you might have, and see how that could incorporate into our budget. Um, and speaking of our budget, the idea was to continue to be able to donate at the same level we have been for years now and I've listed them here, the RILA sponsorship, 2 students for this year, or I should say the calendar year. So RILA is actually going on right now. And from the last budget, we had 3 students in that one, and we actually do have 3 students going. Katie's got one of her children going, and then I've got a nephew of mine who's a junior who's going, and then there was another Ames High student that's going. So if you don't know much about RILA, it's a Rotary Youth Leadership camp, I'll call it, and they are set for a week of fun and good times. I've got actually a colleague who sent all 3 of her children to RILA. Uh, she's down in Des Moines, and she says the third kid's going right now. They do Ragbri and RILA, and they're always back to back. But the first two have come home and just absolutely loved it. So love to keep that going with 2 students. I probably spoke too much about that because some of these I don't know as much about, but forgive me. I need to move this thing out of the way. Give me a second. Um, the Ames Patriotic Council. is another one we've helped out with. That one's not so much. MLK Day essay sponsorship, again, a smaller sponsorship, but still an important one. Community grants is our biggest. Um, we've had, oh, let's see, what was that? $20,000 in that. Um, let me look here. Our budget has had, um, yeah, our community grants have had 20,000 in those the last few years, where we've split those into $2,500 grants. I know a lot of good has been done with that. Those that have sat on the grants committee can attest to that. And then we have had them come in. We should have every grant recipient come in and give us a rundown and a report on how that went and where the money went to, things of that nature. You can see here, our budget is based on $40,000 in the general fund. We have that split down under the comments. The two students, that's $600 per student. Ames Patriotic Council, $25 annual dues. MLK, that was a $250 sponsorship. The Rotary International Convention is part of that. We've earmarked 6,000 for that every year for the last, I don't know how many years. It's certainly 4 or 5 years, 5 years at least. And then the community grants, Ames Rotary Scholarship Fund, 5,000 annually. Again, a lot of good done there. ISU Rotaract, that annual sponsorship is $1,000. I know their first year getting up and going, it took a little bit more than that, but that was all board voted, and we had some extra to do so. Raising readers is another important part of what we do. That's 3,000 annually that we donate there. We have a United Way of Story County video, small amount going to that, and then the chamber, we're part of the alliance and that those annual dues, which that makes every Rotarian have the ability to go to any alliance business after hours or whatever ribbon cutting they may have. They do a great job in this community supporting businesses, and I would encourage everyone, because we are, as a Rotarian, you are part of that alliance, to get involved. It's another great networking, but also just get to see a lot of the great things that our community is doing. So um, a little bit about that. Let me go back here to the slides. So those are where we want to continue to donate. As a board, we look at this. We are open to everyone within the club, having something input on it. We try to look at it from what's best for the club, and it's service above self and in every way. And we go through the 4-way test as well when we look at these things. So we are, but still open to everyone's comments and suggestions. Here's a breakdown of what it's looked like since 2021. You can see where our membership numbers at the top there, where we've declined a bit. We were at 174 back then, and now we're at 126 as of the start of this fiscal year, which is July 1. If you break that down into a per quarter dollar amount for the dues, I did the math, and in 2021, that would be $37,410 per quarter towards our annual budget. If we were to look at it today for the 2025 budget, that's $37,170 per quarter. And that's again based on membership decline, and we've had to raise dues a little bit. I know that can hurt the pocketbook, and where is the money going? Or why the increase? Maybe more importantly, to start with that. It's increased. It has been meal costs. Everywhere you go, grocery store, restaurants, everything goes up. We are certainly not at the gateway. I realize that. But I think the partners that we have for catering have been doing a great job. We have those sheets that we put out pretty much every time we're in person to get feedback. Um, Certainly welcome that. And I know, for example, Karen was fabulous about taking care of all of us at our lunches and going pretty far well above and beyond, I think, sometimes, but we're going to try to keep that same level. Fruit is one thing that a lot of caterers don't do. So we're talking about trying to set something up on a regular basis with another provider that could make it easy on everybody who's trying to volunteer at the Sergeant at Arms to get that there, or myself or whoever. Um, and then beverages is another thing. We try to keep that going, but the meal costs have gone up. Rotary International has also gone up. We have a bit more there, again, based on their expenses as well. And then the District 6000 has been real steady for several years, as you can see. And then they've bumped it up per person a little bit there as well. Um, uh, the budget hasn't changed the last couple of years, at 260 per quarter for the individual basis. But we're trying to play a little bit of catch up and hopefully not hurt anybody's pocketbook too much, but still maintain that same level of service commitment that I just discussed, and actually will again here. I put the same thing in again. So where does the money go? The meeting expenses is the lion's share of that, and then local support would be the secondary. Of course, we have Rotary Foundation at 26,000, operating expenses at about 20,000, District 6,000, and then Rotary International. So that's a kind of an overview of where the money goes, and I certainly hope that we can continue to, number one, maintain the same level of membership, if not grow a bit, to help offset some of these overhead expenses, but keep the community grants at 20,000, keep the scholarship fund alive and well, keep helping Rotaract, raising readers, all of these, the RILA sponsorships. So I hope that starts to help to shed light on the budget as a whole. One apology that I'll have is, in my new presidency, we didn't get information out to the club before those quarterly invoices went out, and really we should have. And I'll take 100% blame for that. And knowing that it is your club, it's your budget, um, it's your funds too. So happy to be transparent on that. If I need any more information to go out to anyone, more than happy to do that. Um, any questions want to throw in the chat, or just go ahead and unmute and ask at all right now? Okay, if there is, just go ahead and pop it in the chat and we can get to that. Membership, so committee check-ins. I going to put some of our membership and programs on the spot if they're available or here today. I know Tammy's not, so, but I'm going to give you a minute to, if you have anything you want to report on. I'm going to move on to other committees and share some exciting news. Sergeant of Arms Committee, we have filled in pretty good there, and since doing so, Ken has volunteered to step up to be the chair for the Sergeant at Arms Committee. So thank you, Ken. Really appreciate that. That service above self. We also have Kathy Pinkerton has volunteered there. Park Woodle has volunteered. Deb Shildroth and Sandy Swanson. So we have a committee of 5 right now, and And I will also say we have a spin-off greeter committee from the Sergeant of Arms where Jenny Legates has agreed to coordinate our greeters for in-person meetings. What that means is I remember when I first started getting asked to be a greeter quite often, and I thought it was great. I get to meet people. You get to know the club a little bit better. Um, so that is definitely something that Jenny's going to try to spearhead and coordinate. We also have our longtime members. Maybe it's a great way to meet some of the new members or put a name to a face. So there might be some mix-ups in, or not mix-ups, but mixing it up a little bit as to who's helping to greet and get to know everyone and come a little bit early. It's probably I don't know. It's a great way to start the day and greet everyone coming in. So thank you, Jenny, for agreeing to help coordinate that and get a schedule together there. And of course, thank you, Ken, for helping with the Sergeant of Arms. We have a sign up sheet already going around and folks are filling in where we can get a couple more folks on this committee. That would be great. Your setup it's really doesn't take too long. I think a lot of times it's a little before 11. Like I've gotten it set up myself once. I showed up at a quarter to 11 and I was ready before Ken Jansen got there at 11:24. So it can happen. And if Ken's there, he's not gonna get upset if he's got to wait a little bit. He's all right. So, um, but it is setting up the banners. We have a pretty good system for that. Putting out some flyers of the Rotary collateral, and then getting beverages set up, helping the caterer come in, um, and then at the end maybe watching beverages, see if we needed more, but at the end just kind of packing up the beverages and the plates and stuff into the totes, and yeah, putting things back in the fridge. So after the meeting might take half hour, maybe after the meeting as well, maybe 40 minutes or so. So if you're interested at all, Ken and the group would love to have you. And as I'm looking at the schedule right now, the sign up sheet, it's we've got quite a few spots filled in, and they're basically just picking weeks that work for them, and just a handful of them between now and December. So not even a handful, actually. Public image chair and committee
Jamie,
members.
may I step in just a moment on that?
Absolutely, you bet.
What we're going to try to do is we have the volunteers come and work. We're trying to do it like you'll pick a month. So that's 2 times a month that you would work. And then the other thing I want to make sure we're doing is making sure we have somebody that's done it before. So you're never like 2 new people wouldn't be there or 3 new people wouldn't be there, so that we get some coordination and experience, if you will. Also, we'll be creating an inventory list so that we can keep track of the beverages and all the peripheral materials that we'll need, plates, plastic, whatever. So I really appreciate everyone that stepped forward already. I want to add another name. Jim Baker came up to me last week as well. So we've got some great lists
Awesome.
of time of people. So, and I figure an hour before and a half an hour after is roughly
Okay.
what it'll take. So there's a whole
Awesome.
list of stuff. So I just really want to step up and thank everybody for all those that have already volunteered. And it's not going to overly burden anyone to put some cookies out on the table. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Kent. Appreciate that. And I echo your sentiments there, that everyone who's stepping up. So um public image chair and committee members. Yeah, so as everyone probably remembers, Allison's been doing this for years for us, and looking for a committee to take over, 2 or 3 volunteers to help with that public image. We've had a couple already. Maybe I'll let Allison, you want to mention that at all?
Sure. Yeah. Lisa Heddens has uh, indicated that she's willing to help with some social media, and Kristen Pates has indicated she's willing to help. So we're kind of looking to put together a little committee so that nobody's singly in charge. And so if you're willing to do a little design work, a little website work, social media, Lisa said I'm on social media every day, so I'm happy to do some posts about Rotary as well. So, and she's got some creative ideas to keep us moving. So feel free to reach out to me if you are willing to assist. The district is doing a training session on August 9th. So we would like to identify a person or two. And if we have representation at that training session, there's actually some dollars for us to use for marketing if we have attended the training session. So that's kind of where we're at right at the moment. So please feel free to reach out if you're willing to do any little project, project-based or an ongoing commitment. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Allison. That's fantastic. So August 9th isn't that far away. And certainly anybody within the club that might have a creative marketing idea, let us know. Love to hear it. I am not a social media guy whatsoever. And I've found in business, if I let those who are, it gets done. And so that's good. Just my 2 cents worth there. Yeah. And we talked about Jenny and the new and long-term members, or just anyone, the greeters side of things. Before
Kevin Bork is on, he might be able to speak to the speakers, the plan for speakers for the year.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's go back to that. I did have programming.
Yeah, for programs and speakers. Yep.
Yeah, I sat, and I'll be honest, Kevin, I'll share this with you and Tammy. I just sat and thought of all the great speakers we've had over the last few years, and I know you know them as well. Maybe certainly more than myself even. Connections there, but it just got me thinking, okay, what do we want to hear about? What does everybody feel like? I think programming is an important part of it too. Just to hear about the community and other things going on and such. So if Kevin, if you wanted to talk about that at all, feel free.
Oh, well, sure. Thanks, Allison, for putting me on the spot. Um, so Tammy and I are kind of spearheading that. It is a little bit of a challenge with our this platform of getting speakers. We've got a list of potential speakers and people that would love to address the group. But they all want to do it in person. So this is kind of the harder of the two formats to get speakers. But we do have a good lineup of potentials that we're working on right now. Nothing really that I'm ready to share, but with a number of groups that we work with, just with my organization, like the Boys High School Athletic Association or the Girls Athletic Union. Both of those executive directors have said they'd love to speak to the group. They're both new in recent years, so I think it'd be great to hear that. And also, I think more of also what's happening within the community. It's great hearing from our nonprofits, and we've got some great organizations in town, particularly the ones that we support, but also just some of the development things that are happening in town too. So more to come on that, but we'll keep you posted.
That's great. That's great, Kevin. Thank you very much. And I know I've heard that before. The online's a little difficult. I've actually got one in my wallet, a business card I can share with you that I think would be a great online one too. So I'll definitely do that. Membership is another strong committee. We've talked as a board. I don't know if Randy's on right now.
I don't think he is today. I think he was
we've
unable to join.
Yeah, and we've talked as a board about some membership ideas. Just going to throw a little bit of that out right now. It was talked about, I think this might have even been last fall, or I don't remember exactly when, but of having each individual within our club invite somebody to lunch. Split that up so it's not so many people at one particular luncheon, but split that up. Maybe it's last name A through C, and we take the month of August, for example. We're not going to do this yet, but maybe it's September. Maybe that's when we start it, because it gives you time to think of someone that might be a potential Rotarian. It's nothing to at least try, and if we said, okay, A through C, please bring a guest in the month of September, and then go from there. Each month it's just kind of spreading it out, let them know who the in-house speakers are, give them an idea of what Rotary is about, try to share with you what the easiest way to talk about Rotary or show them what that marketing collateral looks like. And you might just we might just find one or two or three or four new Rotarians out of it. So corporate membership is another one that we're looking at, rearranging or restructuring that a little bit, where there have been clubs in District 6000 that have done that as a corporate main person, and then having two or sometimes one or two or three other seats for that corporation, for that business, that's not specific to a person. It's a little different rate. So it could be, for example, it could be you're the seat, you're a Rotarian for years now, but there's some other folks within your organization that might just, young professionals that might just benefit from having that networking opportunity, and see how that goes. If it turns into a full membership, great, it can, or it can remain just as here's a seat that's available for someone to go and network, and get to know what we do. So that corporate membership change, I'd like to see us kind of finalize that, or at least present that to the club here soon in the next couple of board meetings. That's my 2 cents on membership, more so than or beyond what I've already talked about, trying to just be plus one. And that takes, I think it really is going to take all the club, everybody, to think about just who could I invite, who might benefit from this. And if they do, great. If they don't, that's understandable too. So any other comments on committees? Okay, club service project ideas. So if we could email those to Allison, which is our Rotary Club of Ames at gmail.com. If you've got a community service project you'd like the board to review and see if we can work it into our budget, that would be great. Love to get some kind of project this fall yet, would be awesome. And then the tree planting in the spring. So just trying to work on that. Looks like we've got a couple of let's see. Yeah, we need talking points as to why someone should become a member. I agree. Some marketing collateral for new members. Yes, I agree with that. Thank you, Carol. Carol Custer dropped a line in there. I think that you're absolutely right. Just whatever we can come up with. I think the district has some information on that we can kind of copy or piggyback off of.
I think that's also what, when we were speaking, that Kristen agreed to step forward and do that little project. So I think we're on top of it, but thank you. Yeah. Point taken,
yes.
Carol. Thanks.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that gets me to our 4-way test. So I guess we're through my agenda. Community community service projects was the last one there. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order they'd like to drop in here as well for the club? I'll open up this chat a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna call somebody else out if if she's available. Chris Eastman, I think I saw that you have a big event coming up this week at Mainstream Living.
We do. So we are celebrating 50 years. And so we have a birthday party coming up this weekend on Thursday, or not weekend, but this week on Thursday. It will be at the Ames Library. I believe it's 5:30 to 7:30. It's a come and go open house type event. So yeah, we would love people to come out and celebrate with us.
Wonder. I saw ribbon cutting in the Ames Alliance newsletter. So
Yes, there is a ribbon cutting also. That is Thursday at noon out at our office on 2012 East 13th Street. So yeah, certainly come out and celebrate that with us as well.
cool. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Anything else in the chat there? No, don't see anything more in the chat. Allison, you've been good at calling people out. You have anybody else you want to call
Yeah, I
out?
know. Gosh, who else can I? No, I don't think I've got anybody else.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I thank everyone for listening to me today, and I think our first online went well. Again, if you have any questions, budget wise, or want to join a committee, just let us know, and a lot of hands will make this work easier. So appreciate all that. And with that, I'll close. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, there was one in the chat.